So let's get started. I am going to be making one of my favorite things of all time, potato leek soup. This recipe goes back to when I still lived in Connecticut. And it was in a restaurant that I used to go to quite a bit. And I just said, I need to know how to make this myself because it's fabulous. So there are 2 elephant head garlics that are going to be roasted. And they're roasted with some olive oil and salt, about 45 minutes-ish to make them nice and soft and mushy. And then what's going to happen is potatoes will be boiled and softened. And then everything's going to go in a Cuisinart with the leeks and the onions together. And it'll all be ground up. It's just amazing. So let's get started. We got soup to make. It's very important right now. We have our elephant garlic, which has been cut nearly through, but because this one didn't cooperate fully, I've cut it mostly through. It's sitting in one of my 2 garlic roasters, and I'm now going to add olive oil and salt. And I have 2 different roasters, so they're each going to get the same thing. And then they're going to go in the oven at 375 for an hour and a half-ish. Going to depend entirely on how quickly they cook. The goal here is nice, mushy, wonderful garlic. And you don't have to use a garlic roaster, just so you know. You can just use aluminum foil and do the same thing and wrap it nice and tightly in aluminum foil. And 375 oven for an hour and a half. Now, please remember, two elephant garlic heads. And if you can't find them in a store, sorry Amazon, but you can get them on Amazon. So the length of time you're going to cook the garlic is going to really depend on the size of the garlic. And elephant garlics do come in different sizes. As I said in the beginning, 45 minutes-ish, but you're going to test them because they need to be really soft. I usually sprinkle about 2 tablespoons, maybe 3, of olive oil, good olive oil, on top, and then I sprinkle with salt. And then the oven is set at 375 degrees. I happen to love leeks, but if you don't clean them properly, you're going to have a problem. You'll see here that there's some dirt down inside the layers of the leek. So make sure you clean, wash, etc. And then you cut them into thin slices, as you can see. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to peel the potatoes, and I'm going to put them into cold chicken stock that is not going to be started to boil until after the garlic has completed roasting, which is, as I said, about an hour and a half. Potatoes have been quartered and they're put into the broth. And they sit there until the garlic is totally roasted. I have added a small-ish onion. Pick an onion, doesn't matter what kind of onion it is. And now I'm cutting up leeks. There are 4 that need to be added. I'm going to add to this 1 more clove of garlic. I've done it with more garlic in the past. It almost became overpowering. So that's what we have. So let me take you over here, and you can see I've got my onion here. I've got my leeks about to be cut up, and I've got my potatoes doing what they're doing, and the garlic is still in the oven roasting. So I have 1/4 cup of olive oil with onions, leeks, and the elephant garlic that has been roasted that are all sitting here kind of happy, and I'm going to turn up the heat and tenderize the ingredients to this. I'm going to add a lid just because I want it to stay heated. That's the best part about having a really good lid that fits your pot, because then you can keep the heat controlled. And I have my potatoes on fire, ready to go. When it comes to the potatoes, you're going to boil the potatoes in the chicken broth. So the chicken broth flavor obviously gets into the potato. Very powerful, very important thing to do. So you're going to put them in and boil them until they're softened and in the chicken broth. And usually I put the garlic in first so it starts to roast, and then add the potatoes at a later time. And then if they soften, just hold them until you're ready to put everything in the Cuisinart. The next step is to take this and some of the heavy cream and some of the potato and broth and batches and put it into the Cuisinart. And yes, it's messy, just be ready for that. And then ultimately, because I'm using an Instapot to keep it warm, it's all going to go back into my Instapot and keep it warm. So please remember, the more potatoes, the denser the soup, but also the change of the flavor. So this looks absolutely perfect with everything we've added in. And then we're gonna have croutons at the end. And I think everybody's gonna be happy because I'm taking this to a soup party. And I think I've done okay. Relatively easy in terms of ingredients and stuff, but time consuming and messy. So here's the result of my Cuisinarting. It's a little messy, but I don't care because the soup is so good. To serve, all you do is spoon it out, and then I made some wonderful baguette croutons, and you put the croutons on top, and oh my gosh, it is just delicious. You're gonna love this soup. Hope you enjoy it, because I enjoyed making it, and I will see you next time for another wonderful meal sometime soon.